Welcome to this brief video lecture on aggregate supply. This is the only video lecture for section SF4. So before we get into the material, aggregate supply is relatively complicated, and it takes a little while to wrap your head around the concepts. There's 3 helpful hints on this topic for that reason, and there's several practice questions in the review posted on the website. And it's particularly important to get some help on this topic and to work on it early because it takes time to really digest the material and make sure you understand it. So to start with the material, we're going to distinguish between a long-run aggregate supply curve and a short-run aggregate supply curve. In the long run, monetary neutrality holds, so P has no impact on aggregate supply. If that's true, then what should the aggregate supply curve look like when we graph it on a Y versus P diagram? Pause the video and think about this for a bit. Have you paused yet? Okay, great. So if the price level has no effect on aggregate supply, then aggregate supply will just be vertical. If you increase prices, you'll still have the same level of aggregate supply because prices are not influencing it. If you lower the price level, you'll still have the same level of aggregate supply because prices don't influence aggregate supply in the long run. Short-run aggregate supply is a little bit more complicated. The most important thing to know about it is that economists, for the most part, agree that short-run aggregate supply slopes upward. They do not agree, however, on the reason why the short-run aggregate supply slopes upward. All of our analysis of business cycles where we put aggregate supply and aggregate demand together is going to depend on the fact that the short-run aggregate supply curve slopes upward. So that's the most important thing to get out of this video. The reasons why the short-run aggregate supply slopes upward are debatable, but you should at least be familiar with several theories. So we're going to spend the rest of the video going over a number of theories. The book lists 3 reasons why short-run aggregate supply might slope upward. The first is the sticky wage theory, is the oldest theory, and it basically says that firms enter contracts that pay wages to pay certain level of nominal wages, and when the price level changes, they'd like to adjust those wages and adjust those prices to reflect their costs. Unfortunately, since they're stuck with the nominal wages they were paying their employees under their contracts, they can't adjust the wages unless they can't really make the full optimizing business decisions they would like to. Greg discusses this in detail in the book, how they'll end up increasing production when prices go up because the real wage declines, and decreasing production when they're stuck with these high nominal wages, even though they'd like to lower them when the price goes down. This theory is not considered that empirically relevant by most economists because it implies that wages should be high during depressions and recessions and low during booms, real wages, but it turns out that the opposite is true if anything. So sticky wages probably is not the right theory. The second theory is sticky prices, so there should be a Y. This is the one we're going to talk about on the next slide, so we're going to go ahead and skip to misperceptions. The misperceptions theory is also not that looked on that favorably by most economists, but it does provide the simplest explanation for why short-run aggregate supply would slope upward. The basic idea is that you see that more people want to buy your product, and there could be 2 reasons for it. One could be because everybody has raised their price except you, or at least some people have raised their price and you haven't. Or it could be because more people want to buy your product because it's just a great product. So the natural thing to do is to think it's probably a little bit of both. I should both raise my prices because everyone else is, and produce a little bit more because there's just more demand for my product. So that's what people do in the simple misperceptions model. And that explains why you'll see higher prices and higher output in a short-run aggregate supply curve, and lower prices and lower output on a short-run aggregate supply curve. So there's really 4 reasons. You should ideally know at least 2 or 3 of these because you may be asked to explain at least 2 theories of sticky prices on an exam. So let's talk about them in the order listed on the slide. The first theory is that businesses may have sticky prices because they made a contract that said they would have a fixed price. So you may enter into a contract with the government, say that you will provide networking services for $1 million a month, and you can't renegotiate that contract until it expires, unless the government for some reason would like to allow you to lower that price or raise that price. Well, they would definitely let you lower the price, but they wouldn't want to let you raise the price. So contracts are going to make prices sticky. A second theory is coordination failure. So suppose this is related to the misperceptions theory. Suppose that some people increase their prices, but you don't know whether they have because they haven't posted the new prices yet. And you're competing with them, so you want to set your price so that it's competitive with them, so it's a little bit lower, but not too much lower because you don't want to lose money. Well, since you don't know what they're going to do, you might set your price lower, you might wait to see what they do, you might raise your price because you think they're going to raise their price, but you're just going to raise it by half as much as they do. And it's really hard for people to coordinate since they don't know what the other people are doing. And you might temporarily have a sort of coordination failure where I raise my price, you leave your price fixed, another guy raises his price even more, and it'll take a little while for us to get back to coordinating where we all have a little bit higher prices or all have a little bit lower prices than before. The third and fourth theories I think are the easiest to understand, and these are the ones I focus on remembering. One is menu cost. For restaurants and other types of businesses that print up menus and post prices that way, it's very expensive to change prices. You have to print up a whole new menu, and then you have to replace all the old menus in the restaurant. And it can actually be quite time-consuming and expensive when you figure you're only changing prices by 5 cents, so how much more money would you make by raising the price 5 cents? Or how much more business could you get by lowering the price 5 cents when you're paying $1 to print a whole new menu? And the fourth theory is basically psychological in nature. It's that suppose you've called, you're the Dollar Tree, you're a dollar store, you call yourself a dollar store, and all your prices are below $1, everything is 99 cents. Well, ideally, you'd like to raise your prices now because because of inflation, $1 isn't worth what it used to be. So you'd like to raise your prices to say $1.05, and 5 cents. But if you do that, then everybody who goes to your store is going to be offended because they think everything is 99 cents. They think everything is $1 or less. You can't have prices above $1. So in this case, you're sort of just stuck at that 99 cent maximum as the highest price you can set because you'll offend your customers and lose a lot of business if you go even 1 or 2 cents higher. So here are 2 questions to review the material from today. These may be difficult because the short-run aggregate supply is a lot of information at once and it takes a little bit of time to digest. So I highly recommend you attend office hours this week to get all your questions resolved. Even if you don't have specific questions, I will print out practice questions, and when you come to work on those questions, you'll learn a lot in the process. Thanks for watching.